Welcome to the Powering Unique You podcast. Here, we create encouraging conversations to help you accelerate your career, expand your unique potential, and become a better leader.
Hello there. Hi, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, maybe good night, wherever you are tuning in. If you're tuning live, I'm so excited to be here with you. If you're tuning on the replay, hi, friend. I am so excited you're here. I am very grateful for this day, for this opportunity, for this technology that can connect you and I. Hey, we might be strangers. Maybe it's the first time you just rumbled on my video. My name is Jana Maisel, and I'm here hosting this broadcast, Powering Unique You. This is all about encouraging conversations that can help us just learn from each other. Find the things, find the tips, find the strategies, find the connections that can help us to encourage ourselves, to empower ourselves, and to help ourselves see bigger potential, bigger possibilities to go to that next level that you want to go. I know, my friend, you want to go to the next level. If you wouldn't be tuning in today. So today, if you do want to go to the next level, I invite you to dream big. I invite you to explore that there is a power. You hold that power. There is a power of dreaming big. And hey, today, let's give ourselves permission. Give yourself permission today, my friend. On this day, and this is a Monday. As I'm recording, this is a Monday, new week, new beginning. You may be watching it on Saturday or Sunday if you're on the replay. But I want to encourage you, give yourself a permission. And I just want to say a quick prayer, if you don't mind. And you don't have to be a person of faith, but I want to say a quick prayer. I want to ask my Lord Jesus to bless you abundantly, to bless your family, your relationship, your occupation, your health, and give you joy and peace within. And I want to tell you that God is just amazingly loves us, and he wants to bless us abundantly. And I am wishing those blessings for you. I hope you accept them. My friend, today, without further ado, I'm so thrilled to bring on my dear friend that became just amazing peer and friend to me, who's I met about 2 years ago. And hey, if you've been watching our journey for so long, you might have seen him on a previous episode that he's been here. So this gentleman really it fascinated me how he traveled the world. He traveled to 50 countries around the world. And he's not like in his 80s. He's like youngster, he's younger than I am. So maybe younger than you are, my friend. So he's traveled to amazing countries. He's worked in different places. He's like calling himself as a student of the world. And just recently has an amazing achievement. He wrote a book. And my friend will touch about that in a conversation as you're tuning in. Let me know how things are going on for you. How are you doing today? Without further ado, I want to bring on my dear friend, Rob Maisel. Hello, Rob.
Hey, I felt your energy dancing before, and I was like, I'm not coming on this broadcast and not dancing. Good morning, everybody.
Grooving right in, Robert. I love it. I love how you have embraced your unique personality over this period of time that I've known you, and we've built fantastic relationship that I treasure. I love that you've embraced this sparkiness within yourself, this kind of a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a funny side of you. And you're just very unapologetic about it. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you. You know who sparked that? I don't know. A special someone on the other side of the call named Jana Maisel.
Oh, you're so cute, my friend. Thank you. I love the compliments all the time. You know what? Sometimes we are tempted when we get the compliment tell me if you're tempted, if you're tuning in, if you're tempted when you're getting the compliment, and especially something that is really genuine, that you feel that, yes, it is, but then somehow you like to downplay it. You like to say, oh, no, it's just, no, it's, if you get a compliment about how you look, you're like, no, it's not that. So I feel we need to break that and say, let's accept genuine compliments and feel good about each other.
You know what, Jana? That brings up a point that I want to touch on. I was always one of those people, and I think I looked at it earlier on in my life as being modest. If someone gave me a compliment, I would say, oh, no, whatever. But I've come to genuinely embrace accepting compliments. And it was really a book that really impacted me in that regard was called The Go Giver. And one of the stratospheric laws of success, I believe, is being open to receiving. So just the give and take of the universe. So when we give out, it's also important for us to embrace receiving, because that is the natural flow. If we don't receive, if we don't let ourselves receive, we're sort of blocking the natural flow of things from that perspective.
I love this. And I agree with this. I think we can be more generous in giving. And sometimes, yes, we can give financially, but I feel that's not all to giving. We can give our energy. We can give advice. We can give mentorship. We can give just being a present with someone, listening ears. We can give genuine compliments. We can give so much. And at the same time, it's okay sometimes to ask, right? And to receive. And I feel that is a learning process for me as well. And I like that you are also on the same path. We need to receive genuine compliments. And we have some people coming up. You'll be surprised. We know them. Lindsay Chapman saying, great to see you this morning. Hello, Lindsay. So excited to see you. We are happy you're tuning in. Keith, hi. Keith, let's dream big. So he's saying, hi, Rob. How are you doing, Keith? We have Laura. Hello, Laura. Thank you for tuning in and adding all more positive energy from cold Monday morning in New York. Hey, Laura, we had 38 degrees here in Florida. I call it freeze zone Florida. I was dropping my son at the bus station today at 6:15. And it was literally like frost on the grass, on the green grass in Florida. Frost on the grass. And I'm like, yeah, it's a freezing zone. So good to see you all, my friends. Rob, dreaming big. You and I had a conversation about this, why we wanted to really come on today. And hey, this is the end of January 2020. The months have just passed right off. Tell me, why would you want to dream big, and why would we want to encourage everyone that is tuning in, listening to this, viewing this right now and after, to dream big?
That's a great question. Well, first off, good morning to everyone. Keith, Lindy, Laura, thanks for tuning in, and everyone else who's here. So Jana, why would we want to dream big? Why would we want to encourage others to dream big, right? What's the big deal? Why don't we just play small? It's so easy to do, right? I think the idea behind this in my mind is I've just grown to learn through my experiences traveling, reading, through conversations, video, all my interactions. We are so powerful as human beings. We have so much potential. When I say so much, I mean so much. And we don't even fully comprehend, I believe, how much potential we have. But we also a lot of us don't tend to utilize it fully. And I think a lot of that has to do with the society we're in, how we're raised, what we're used to. I think a lot of us grow up thinking small or thinking blah, if you will, right? But there's just so much more out there that, it's been said, if we can achieve it, if we can believe it, we can achieve it. And I think it's so true. If you just look at so many of the amazing journeys of the folks around us in the mobility industry, of you in particular, where you've come from 2 years ago, that didn't come from playing small-minded. That didn't come from, keeping your ideas small in your head. That came from dreaming big and then achieving big, right? So, you're proof that this can be done. And I think when we when we think big, when we dream big, that allows us to actually play big and achieve big.
Well, thank you so much, Robert. I love that you touched on we are sometimes conditioned, that we are conditioned to think of ourselves. And I share my experience. It looks like we're looking at our circumstances. And I don't know how about you, but for me, particularly financial circumstances, looking at my circumstances and reflecting back when I was 5, 6 years ago, deep down in debt, 5, 6 credit cards maxed out, paycheck to paycheck, scrambling to just get out on my feet, and just really depressed in on many levels, overwhelmed, and at that point it felt impossible. It felt impossible for me to dream that one day, I can do what I truly enjoy doing, discovering my passions. We can steadily get out of debt, and I don't have to worry about working, and my husband's income would be sufficient for our needs. There would just it wouldn't even dawn on me. As simple as that, right? For me, it was dreaming big. But I did start dreaming that, and I did wanted to go that route. And I said, how can we get ourselves up for success? And I think dreaming big is really imagining your circumstances and how you want to feel more than anything, what you want to be, who you want to become beyond your current circumstances. And right now in this stage, and I'm excited to touch about this, Rob, beyond this stage is really thinking what adventures do I want to explore. Now that, to me, this type of somewhat of a dream has come true, I say, okay, what's next big out of reach dream? And that is the beauty of it. We have some people tuning in and sharing their thoughts. Linda saying, not surprised you would mention Bob Burgo Giver, Robert. Yes, thank you so much. In Florida, yes, it is cold. Laura saying poor trees. Yes, poor orange trees. That's so true. And Ashish saying good morning. Hello. So happy to see you here live with us, Ashish. And he says, yes, by dreaming big, we can play big and make a big difference. So Robert, I would love for you to share, how did the dream of writing a book transform through travel? Here's a well-known international author over here online. Ladies, if you haven't gotten this book, Transform Through Travel, you're missing out on a great deal. I just finished gobbling it all in. Rob sent it to me a while ago, but I said I want to really soak it in. So I dedicated my whole Sunday and I just gobbled the whole thing. I'm like, I have, things to underline, things to share. So watch out. I'll be sharing a lot of things from that book.
Amazing.
Robert, this dream of becoming an author, for me, it's unimaginable. I'm like, how did you do this with the blink of an eye? How did that happen? Please share with us.
Sure. So, years ago, it was never really something I considered. Once the pandemic hit, I knew that I wasn't going to be traveling at least at the start of it as much as I was normally. And I had been experiencing a lot through travel. And learning a lot. So I shifted a lot of that learning to multimedia videos, online conversations, reading. I started reading a lot more books. And I felt that since I wasn't in a position to travel at that time, hey, this would be the perfect time to share what I've learned with the world. And what better way to do it than a book? And so that's how the idea came about. It's funny, we talk about goal setting, and I got into that, and I wrote it down just like it was instructed. And what's really funny is I wrote it down as I wrote some short-term goals, which I achieved. And then I wrote this as one of the long-term goals. And I think I wrote, in the next couple of years or even a decade. And here we are, like, somewhere a year or two later, and it's done. So I think that points to the potential that we all have, that if and when we decide on a big goal, we can do it. It's just a matter of, making the connections, putting in the time, the work, staying with it, and really, with that end vision in mind of whatever it is. And in my case was, adding value to the world, showing people how truly powerful travel is, providing an important new perspective, and yeah, really just giving people the opportunity to learn and to be, through my experiences, to learn, and to be inspired to travel themselves.
I absolutely admire this, Robert. And I can say, through our many interactions that we've had over the past couple of years, I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot about you. I feel that you've constantly becoming, showing up as a role model. What I really admire in you, how you hold the power of accountability and discipline and commitment to make the things that you set yourself to happening. And that can seen through this phenomenal achievement that you've done in the travel and learning new languages, and how you portray this journey through your book. I just want to applaud you and compliment you on that. And yes, well done, Robert. I feel this is really a phenomenal step toward your next big dream. And
Thank you.
it sounds that you just very good at setting stepping stones. And I feel that is what the power of dreaming big really, to me, resonates. And we would love to hear your comments and questions and participation on that. What does that mean to you to hold that power of dreaming big? To me, it's giving yourself a permission. I think number one, it starts with really giving yourself a permission to lift up your head from looking at where you are, who you are right now, and being, upset, frustrated, overwhelmed, angry, whatever it is that you're looking at your circumstance, that you're unsatisfied, you're unfulfilled. So giving yourself a permission to lift up and say, wait a minute, I can create a better outcomes. I can create a better internal state. I hold the power. So the power is internal power. And that starts with permission first, and then setting up the vision. And that vision is beyond, and that's why it's dreaming big, is because it's beyond your circumstances, beyond your current capacities to be. And it's a big stretch. So, Robert, what are the other steps that you would identify besides, for me, it's really permission and then stretching that courage, that, out of comfort zone. You almost have to push yourself toward that. What are the other steps that you would identify in your experience?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jana. So as you've mentioned, the step aspect is important. So dreaming big, having this vision for yourself, and then really believing that you can achieve it. And as you've mentioned as well, really feeling like what it feels like as best as you can, whether that's adding music in, affirming something, using visualizations, any tool that works for you, that really allows you to feel what it's like to step out of that comfort zone and achieve that major goal, right? And I think that what you said about the small steps is important, right? Because it's important to dream big, but also for us to have the capacity to understand that it takes time. And so to not get overwhelmed by this dream not coming true immediately, right? To put these small steps into place that are going to allow us to get there. And I want to touch on something you said as well. A lot of times, you mentioned you and a lot of other people, perhaps some of our viewers out there have been in challenging situations, financial stress, or something very upsetting going on, and so we can tend to stay stuck in survival mode and focusing on that. The concern with that is just what I want to raise awareness about is just be aware for our folks out there who might be doing that if you're focusing on that, that's what you're bringing more of into your life. Due to the law of attraction, what you focus on is what you're going to bring into your life, right? I've seen it personally to be true.
Yes.
And so it's really a matter of shifting that focus from worrying, right? And I'm not saying don't handle the problems. Of course, take care of whatever issues, pay the bills, right? Whatever you need to do. But if we can shift our focus from stress and survival mode and everything into this bigger picture, I think that's where dreaming big really turns into believing we can do it, and then ultimately playing big.
I love this. I love that you touch on focus because it's mental game, right? It's a mental game. To me, it's really tied into your thinking, into your emotions, and then your will comes into play. So focus is your mental, where your thoughts are trained to go. And something I'm going to be sharing along the ways, I just signed up for a new coaching experience about mental fitness. I can't wait to go through the program. It seemed to be very, very phenomenal. And it's really about understanding that we've trained our brain to go, that neural pathway is a muscle that's been developed. And a lot of times we go, that muscle or the flow of brain activity or thinking is going into negative side. And because that muscle is so strengthened, it's almost like portrayed, there are two pathways. When the event comes, you're thinking, you're about to take an action, to thought, to process, to say something, to take an action. Your pathway that is used most of the time is like a highway. It goes automatically toward that. And most of us, it goes to negative. And that's the focus, right? What we're focusing on. And then the pathway to positive, to view the situation as opportunity, to view the situation as a gift, view as let me explore that. Let me be curious. Let me consider, let me express empathy to myself and others. That is like a roadway that is what, like they say, this where dirt way. It's like very bumpy, clumsy, and barely you can get through it. So your focus goes most of the time to negative, to look at where you are, look at what you've done, look at other people. So it's really fascinating to see that neuroscience, neuroplasticity has been developed over the several latest years, and to see that we can choose. We hold the power. It's all about your personal power, my friend. You hold the power to choose which pathway are you going to make a highway. So, and there's a specific exercises that you can actually execute and practice on daily to strengthen that highway toward positivity, exploration, and creating your brain to actually be helpful to you, not hurtful in a way. And Keith is mentioning here, I think, is by dreaming big, we can make a big difference. And he's also asking you, Keith is asking you, Robert, what is next for you?
So great question, Keith. So we just launched the online course on cross-cultural adaptability, which rolled out, and we're going to be pushing that forward. And in the works, looking like a next month launch. I'm going to wait to give a date until I have absolute confirmation, but we're looking to roll out the audiobook, which is self-narrated by yours truly. And that's more information coming on that soon. So that's the exciting next project that's coming.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love it, Rob. And we have LinkedIn users saying that we're pleased to be here. We are so happy you're here. If you want to figure out how to navigate your LinkedIn setting and make your name public when you connect to the live streams, you could do that in your profile. And if you need help with that, reach out to me. I'll be happy to say it's incredible to have such a confidence at this age. I'll say this compliment for you, Rob.
No, that was meant for you, Jana. You know what? Hey, what we were talking about, accepting compliments, we'll both take those.
Sounds good. Julie. Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining in. She's saying, Robert is so inspirational. This is for you, Robert, for sure. It has been fun to witness his journey. I second to this. Yes,
thank you,
Julie. It has been so much fun to witness your journey, Rob, and to just become I treasure to say, to become a friend of yours, and really to see how you embrace this concept that we're talking about, the power of dreaming big. And so we talked about it. So let's summarize. For me, it's really about giving yourself permission, look beyond your circumstances. It's really about, try to see what the opportunities are that you would want to experience, this sense of sensation, this feeling, how you want to feel about where you're going, your dream, envision yourself in that dream, and what is these feelings you're going to experience as you're there. And for you, Robert, I know you mentioned focus. Really focus on what you want, not not what you don't want. Focus on what you want that would grow, and create a way to break it down, small steps. So sometimes dreaming big is overwhelming. Creating a small steps is important. And I would love to share, if you don't mind, that right now I am in the process with you hiring you as my travel coach, Robert, to dream big. Scary.
And I want to commend you, Jana, for doing that. I'm so proud of you, because while we're talking about focus, right? I think the pandemic is a time that it's brought a lot of change and challenge and difficulty, and along with that has come a lot of fear around personal issues, fear around travel, and understandably so. There has been a lot less travel, but I commend you, my friend, for having the courage to dream big, to trust in me, to guide you along the way, and to really take the time now, which I think is so smart, and it's something that not many people are doing, but to really take the time now, when travel is challenging, to put a plan together, right? So we're talking about these steps of dreaming big. That's what you're doing. You and I are putting the plan together, right? We're looking at the intention, we're looking at your goals, we're figuring out how we can structure it, and we have the grace of time. And we don't have any of the stress of, having to pay for anything right now, because we can solely plan. So I commend you, my friend.
Yes. Well, for you, as you're tuning in and listening, and you wondering, what is this big dream of Jana's? Really, what is that? Hi, I'm going to announce it to the world. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, and I've really invited my family into that, but I've told them that I would love to travel to Japan. And bring my entire family. And for you, if you do not know, my size of family is a people of 10. So it's 10 of us to go to Japan. It's really, really the destination, the language, the culture, the cost of it. For me to just think about it, my mind is telling me just forget. There's no financial way that you can afford this in the near future. So what's the point of even talking or dreaming about it? There is no travel, right? Like Robert said, there's no travel right now. What's the point of even looking into this? And, and it's going to be so much stress for you. Jana, what are you even embarking on? Do you realize what it's going to cost you, to try to go there and, drag all of your kids around and try to make it a pleasant time? Well, I refuse to listen to those negative saboteurs, negative thoughts that are not helping me. And I choose to create a pathway toward that it is possible, to say that it is possible. I want that experience. My husband lived in Japan for about 4 years when he was a teenager with his dad in the Navy. He has a very fond memories about it. I would love to explore it, and I feel it's going to be a phenomenal experience for kids. How are we going to do that? I'm not sure yet, but hey, I want to dream about it, and I want to see it. I want to envision it. I want to look around, discover. And I said, you know what? Who is not the best person for me to help me with this but my dear friend, Robert? So I reached out to Robert and I said, Robert, please, would you be my coach? Would you be my travel coach? I have this dream that is way beyond outside my comfort zone. And it's definitely not happening this year. It's definitely most likely not happening next year. But in 2024, I feel that we would love to make it happen. And hey, we have some time to, as Robert mentioned, to think through it, to write a plan, to write a budget, look at the adventure. What are we doing there with the kids? And I just had a first session with Robert, and it was phenomenal. So my friends, if you're tuning in and you're thinking that, hey, what is this next big dream? And it's somehow related to travel, I invite you to connect with Rob and just chat with him and think about what can it be for you. And yes, it's very exciting. It is uncomfortable. However, it's very exciting. And that I feel is the power, right? The power of dreaming big is giving yourself permission to be excited about something that is way beyond your reach.
Absolutely. And thank you again for trusting me in the process. And yes, a very exciting process that we've begun. And, I want to commend you also for shifting your focus, because one, for recognizing and acknowledging that this is out of your comfort zone. you know, looking for some help and really shifting your focus from, like you said, the negative to the positive. Yes, there are all these things like very financially challenging, COVID restrictions, all these things, but really looking at the bigger picture, following the positive route and trusting that, and I can attest to this, this experience will be life changing for you and your family.
I believe it, and I am looking forward to actually pulling this conversation, 2 years from now, and to say, look, where I was 2 years ago, there was no way, it could be possible. Not even in the wildest dreams. But hey, the big dreams are the wildest dreams. And the reason why we're having this conversation with you today, as you're listening in, I would love for you to think and just give yourself permission to explore. What is it like for you? What is this next wild dream may look like for you? Is it in your relationship? Is it in your career? Is it in your travel experiences? Is it, in maybe in other areas, whatever it may look like for you? And dream about it. Talk about it with others. Reach out to people that you think may help you to pave the pathway toward that, to help you create those steps, and execute on them. Execute on them now with the sense of faith. And I think this is another ingredient that is important, is to have faith. Believe in your ability to figure things out. Believe in your ability to bring good enjoyment and good feelings and good experiences in your life, because that is your power, my friend. Right, Robert?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. You have to believe, for it to come true. I definitely believe in that. And yeah, just remembering not to get bogged down, not to get so overwhelmed by the huge picture, and take those small steps. And something I've come to embrace, is, battling my perfectionism. It's important to get things done well, I believe, and take enough time to do them properly. But at the same time, to make sure that doesn't stop us from taking action, right? Because we can have these wonderful dreams and goals and plans, but if we don't take any steps forward toward actually doing something about them, then they will most likely stay where they are. So it's important, right, to have this dream, this vision, to have the action steps along the way, how we can achieve it, and then to follow through and do them. It may sound kind of basic, but it's true.
It's true. It's true. And as you speak about this, Robert, I think the important part to me is sometimes you get too overwhelmed with the complexity of it, that you freeze. And I'm speaking for myself. You could just get overwhelmed with the complexity and you freeze, and you're like, it's too much. It's just too much involvement. I don't have the skill, or I don't have the capacity, or finances. A lot of times it's a financial constriction. I just don't have it, and you just give up on yourself. You give up on your dream. So I want to encourage you, do not give up. Do not give up on your dreams. There is a reason why there's something within you that your heart's beating a little bit harder, faster. You're like, oh, yeah, if I could only, I wish I could do this. There is a reason it's in you. I believe it's a divine planting seeds in you. And sometimes those experiences are great for us to achieve, to go for, to strive for. And yet through those, we will eventually, I believe, serve others. And I love how through your book, Robert, again, reminding, if you haven't got the book, get it on Amazon. Roger, drop the link. Robert, drop the link in the, after our conversation in our podcast here, that you can order that book that Robert wrote. It's really what I love, and I touched about what you write, the way you write your experiences, which are to me fascinating experiences. Going on all sorts of corners of the world, but in each and every chapter, it was almost like a thread to me, where you said, if I can do it, so can you. If I can experience this, so can you. If I can enjoy these foods, so can you. If I can build those relationships with people are completely different language, completely different race, completely different life, ways, so can you. And that was an encouragement to me. And I feel that community that you build, the encouragement that you need to build to achieve your dreams are so important. Reach out to people, ask for help, ask for guidance, see if somebody is in that dream area where you are, or they've done it. Like I know Robert has done what I want to do. He's traveled to Japan. He lived there for 3 years. So I'm reaching out to him. I say, how do I do this? How do I come along? Well, he didn't have a family of 10, but hey, he still did it. So his advice is going to be very helpful for me to be able to structure it. So my encouragement, create a community, find the people that either are doing what you want to do or have done what you want to do, and ask for mentorship. Maybe you're not in a position to pay right now, and that's okay. Ask for mentorship, ask for advice, ask for guidance. You will be surprised that people will share their knowledge with you.
Completely agree. That's great advice to the audience, Jana. And yeah, I think I've personally seen, for sure, surrounding myself with amazing people, and you are certainly one of those people that has encouraged me to just push forward and really, see a higher vision for and a version of myself, right? And that's amazing, because I think that if I hadn't surrounded myself and found my tribe, that would be a lot harder, and I also just want to give everyone in the audience permission to, dream big, but also and feel those feelings of excitement and elation, but also recognize when you feel those feelings of fear, when you might notice yourself getting stuck in, survival mode, and just pay attention to that. Just be aware of that, because that is a challenging feeling. But I think if we become aware of it and we're knowledgeable that we have it, we sort of let it just pass through us, and that feeling isn't going to stay forever. And so I think it's important just to acknowledge that,
Yes,
and then move on from it and not let it crumble us.
feel the fear, do it anyway, right?
Yes.
I agree. Now, Ashish has a question, and I would love for you, Robert, to answer it. How do we know what we are capable of? Sometimes we want to start something new. However, we will get feeling that we may not succeed. I think this is a great question, Ashish. And Robert, what are your thoughts on that?
Sure. Ashish, thank you for asking that question. I think, when we think about it, it's so natural for us to have these feelings of self-doubt, and, we might not be able to succeed. And I just want to hammer that home by a story that I learned at a seminar that, a lot of times entrepreneurial groups and masterminds talk about the ideas of imposter syndrome, and it's doubting ourselves and not feeling certain. Oh, what can I do? Why is my story important, right? And it's such a natural feeling that even a group of entrepreneurs who were in the, I forget if it was millions or billions mark, I believe million, 1 million and above. I heard this story. They were having the same issues, so at all the levels. Just to acknowledge this issue, we all feel that. How do we actually know what we're capable of? You got to try. Just put yourself out there and do it. It's really, I believe this might sound kind of crazy, but anything you believe, you can achieve. So you got to believe it first, and then you got to take action and do it. And I think you'll really surprise and amaze yourself.
I agree. And this is what you wrote in your book too, Robert. You said, whatever you believe, you're right. If you believe you can achieve it, you're right. If you believe you cannot achieve it, you're right. Because if you believe you can't achieve it, you're never going to achieve it. So this concept of dreaming big is giving yourself permission to believe. Ashish, believe in your ability, in your capacity of figuring things out, connecting with the people you need to connect, asking for help, for mentorship. and reflect on your life, I'm sure if you look back at your life, you figured out so many things that you didn't know. You found out the capacity of navigate through circumstances that you had no idea how to do it. Robert, in his book, tell us that he's navigated through life circumstances where he would risk his life. And he said, well, I'm just going to listen to my gut, listen to my intuition, and just navigate through this. And here, behold, he's alive over here with us, although he might have lost his life back then. So it's a capacity. Your capacity is relevant to your belief. How far do you want to stretch yourself, and how far do you want to really go and push through uncomfortable? And I feel the capacity is there. The secret is learning how to be uncomfortable and exploring. We are afraid of being judged, and I speak for myself. We are afraid of being judged by others by starting small and incompetent. We want to come up and say, I could do this, I could do that. We're competent, especially as you grow, progress in your career or a certain industry. It's so hard to pivot in a different new segment or section or industry because you feel, well, I don't know much in there. I'm going to be looking like an amateur, So it's the judgment, a fear of judgment. And you know what? Hey, people going to judge others no matter what. It doesn't matter. Don't let it hold you back from exploring what you're capable of, exploring of your potential, exploring what really give you that sense of fulfillment and joy. And do not back to the fear.
And
fear is not your friend. Say, hey,
that's
fear, thanks for your signals, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Exactly, John. I think that's great advice. And to add on to that, I think the element of patience and surrendering it to the universe. And what I mean by that is, a lot of us can get discouraged if our dreams don't happen overnight. We know now that we need to put the action steps in place and take action, but being patient and knowing and trusting in the process that when it's the right time, it will happen. Right. Because I think a lot of times, well, it's tricky because we have to take action, but what a lot of us can do, and I'm guilty of it sometimes myself, trying to force something or push it or make it happen when it just doesn't feel right and it's not flowing. So I think this is a challenge of understanding that uncomfortable zone when you're stepping out of your comfort zone. That is going to be a scary feeling, and it's okay. Like, let's push past that, but also taking a step back and understanding when we're really just grinding against, we're grinding our wheels so hard against life. It's just not, we're going against the flow. So I think that's when we have to take a step back and say, all right, let me be patient. Let me do everything I can to put things in motion, and trusting that the universe will bring it to us in the best way possible for everyone.
I love this. I would pair, I agree, Robert, and I would pair the patience also with process. It's as you explain, it goes together with the process. Be patient of yourself and the process you are in, right? There is a process. There's patience, and very important quality that I believe we all can improve and grow on is persistence or discipline. Be disciplined enough to take small actions every day toward your dream, even if it's just closing your eyes for 5 minutes and just envisioning and feeling how it is that you want to live that dream, even if it's that for this stage. And then thinking about, okay, what can my next best step can be? Who can I reach out? Who can help me to create more tangible plan, more tangible structure toward achieving that, what I want to achieve and create in my life? And I feel that patience, process, and perseverance or persistence can serve you very well in creating that. And we have LinkedIn user Sandeepta. Hello, Sandeepta. Yes. All right. So happy to have you here. We are so happy and welcome to give you the bundles of valuable advices that hopefully serve you well.
Thank you, Sandeepta.
Yes, Keith is saying kudos to us, Robert, for stretching ourselves. Yes, I feel it's uncomfortable, but hey, we want to be role models to do that.
Thank you, Keith.
And Sandeepta, thank you for agreeing. It's very sweet of you. Keith is saying, if we let the fear of failure stop us when we would never learn how to walk, we can still learn from each failure. That is so true.
That's so true, Keith. And, that just brings into my mind the idea of, it's talked about a lot, but I don't think it's given enough importance to really observe children and how they operate. They don't walk around, worried about every little thing. They bump into something, they knock into a table, fall, topple over, and get right back up and keep trying. Why do we at a certain age learn to stop doing that? We can learn so much from just observing children, and just their playful nature, their fun, outgoing, steadfast, just resilience to learning, and to brush it off and keep going. Right? A failure, can't walk. Well, you're going to learn what you're not doing right, and then ultimately the child learns how to walk. Right? So that's, I think, a great thing for us to keep in mind as adults.
Yes, and I can reflect on that. I feel for me, my kids are greatest teachers. They're teaching me something every day. But my middle son is he's a challenger of any rules or structures. He would challenge you with everything, and he would be just like, why this, why that, why this, why that. So it's really a porter of it's like a showing a determination to challenge the narratives and the rules, and to say, well, let me try to be out of the rule and see how much trouble I'm going to get in. And if I do get into trouble, I'm going to figure out the way out of the trouble. So in a way, it's inspiring. I feel we are set into compliance from the early age, from, kindergarten, school, college, job. Just be in a row, be in a compliance, don't step left, don't step right, don't say things. And I could see his personality he's going to be a great explorer. So the children can show us that, yes, it is okay to stay in the row and follow the rules, but sometimes it is okay to step out also, and to say, let me challenge the system or the rules. Let me challenge myself. Let me see, maybe I'll risk something, but maybe I'll discover something better. And I feel that is a part of it as well. Taking risks, right? Dreaming big is a taking risks exercise to me.
Let me share a real quick funny story, Jana.
Yeah.
One of the bagel shops here in New York City that I went into, that I visit quite frequently, I remember we just had a brief conversation just about the stock market and investing in things. And something that I shared with them stuck with them. And it was no risk, no reward. And every time I go in there now, hey, no risk, no reward, no risk, no reward. So it's pretty funny, but I think it's true, and I think it's a matter of taking calculated risks, right? But yeah, we truly do need to take risks in life to achieve these great rewards.
Yes, and I would share a quick story as well. A story that my son was reading with me from his study. So there was a field mouse and there was a house mouse, and the field mouse was living in poverty in a little hole in the forest and was eating crumbed and, very rare food, seeds, whatever she could find. And the house mouse was living in the luxury, and they both invited each other. So when the house mouse came to visit, they said, well, it's okay, but you're kind of snug in here, kind of dark, come to my house. So the field mouse came to his house, and they really had a fancy cheese and all the truffles and so much goodness. And then all of a sudden they hear, meow. And the field mouse said, what is that? And the house mouse, it's just a cat. And the field mouse, oh no, I would rather live in poverty but be safe, and run away. And the interesting part of it is that the school system asking kids to choose what is the moral of the story. And one of the answering questions, which was led to be safe, to choose a safe option. And I was starting pondering about it. And I said, well, the society wants us to program or to confine us to be safe and poor. And hey, look at this house mouse. He's enjoying truffles and cheese. Yes, there is a cat meowing from time to time. And yes, he may be snatched and eaten tomorrow. But hey, he lived his life. So it was a really interesting perspective for me to say, without risks, you are doomed to sit in your dark hole in the field and eat your crumbs that are being there, barely surviving. And you know what? If you don't take risks, you'll just stay there. And I feel that sometimes we need to reprogram it and to give ourselves permission to say, hey, the house mouse is doing something right. And yes, there may be a danger, But you're going to have to take and step out and say, if I want to do different and I want to do different experience or have different experience, I will. So it was a good lesson for me, I think, to elaborate on this and talk to my kids a little bit to say, well, the moral of the story might be this, but this is true. And how is it going to play out in your life?
Yeah, I love that, Jana.
So, Laura say magic words, trust the process and enjoy the journey. Yes, it is so true. Well, Robert, thank you so much for coming in today, sharing your journey, your wisdom. Again, get the book. Get the book if you haven't read it. It's a phenomenal read. It's going to challenge your thinking about travel and how you can actually transform your life, your business, your team through travel, through cultural awareness, through the connectedness. Robert, any parting advice or tips on dreaming big and the power of it?
I'm just seeing if I can. I'm not sure if I can put a comment in the chat. Maybe I can do it afterwards. So final words on this, really. You know what? It's everything you've said has been great, and I think you did a great job summarizing it. I want to build off of Laura's comment for my final word, actually, to trust in the process and enjoy the journey, because trust is so important, and so is enjoying the journey. Why? Because while it's important to set these goals and dream big, right? I want us to take a moment and think about this for a second. You've got your dream, you've got your goal, this amazing vision. That's important. But what happens, how much time out of your life does it take when you actually achieve the goal? For some, a college graduation, for example, 3 to 7 seconds when someone walks onto the stage, takes their diploma, and walks off. Now, in Jana's case, could be between, let's say, a week or an entire month of it being in Japan and exploring. And that's amazing. We want to make the most of every moment we have here. But when we think about it, the actual achievement of the goal is such a minuscule amount of time in comparison to the journey we are on to get there. So, as Laura says, let's make sure to have this vision, have this goal, but don't forget to enjoy the journey.
Wow.
Because that's the real long process.
And that's a real power in there. Because, Robert, I would add to that, it's who you are becoming in the process of stretching for that dream is what is really important afterwards. It's who you are becoming as you are stretching for that goal that is way beyond your comfort zone, that is way bigger than who you are right now. Who you are becoming in the process is actually the most important achievement that you're going to have for the rest of your life, because you're going to look back at yourself and you're going to say, yeah, that person that was there 2 years ago, yeah, I've grown. I've developed. I've invested in myself. And hey, what's the next? What's the next thing to embark? What's the next thing to explore? And that is powerful, my friend. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Rob. And it's been a pleasure to chatting with you as always.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for having me back on the show, Jana. So grateful.
Wow. This is a great conversation. I could have talked to this, my friend, for hours, but for the sake of your time and your attention, so grateful you've spent all of this time with us so far. We want to be mindful to your time. Thank you for your comments, participation. I hope this has served you, my friends. I hope you are inspired and, more importantly, empowered. Give yourself permission to dream big, whatever that dream may be for you, your family, your loved ones together, your career, your adventures, fun. Hey, don't sit there as a field mouse in this little tiny place, fearing for your life that something's going to happen. Go out there, explore, face the challenge, face the danger, but live the life that you truly love. And that's powerful, my friend. Until next time, I wish you well. And hey, keep powering unique you.